What we got? Good. Who else?
Because I was just curious when, just generally speaking, especially with the quarterbacks, when a coach for the other team announces that their main quarterback's out, and it's just there's no question about it. Does that ever change your thinking at all during the week?
I mean, it could. I think if you really have distinctly different type quarterbacks, and some do, some are, when you have that runner versus that passer, that's one of the guy's strengths. He's like really part of the, run game of scrambling and all those things. And if another guy's more of the passer, like that can change some thinkings. And, a few teams have that just depending on their personnel, but that doesn't apply to Stanford, I do think that, what you can see on tape, Costello, he can move well, he runs, but I think Mills is probably a little bit more but they're there to throw the ball. They're there to hand it off 8 yards deep and to throw the ball in the pocket. And doesn't mean they won't do a little something different, but I think they have the system they like and they recruit to that.
I was gonna say even when they put on tape that Mills is versatile as a pass catcher, they can.
Well, you're always preparing for tricks and those type of things. I think he's a really good athlete and all those type of things. I mean, I think that's obvious. The play he made there was really obvious. I mean, they had 2 guys there and he went up and got it. Yeah. We prepare for the system of what we see on tape.
You feel like you have a group that does a good job of taking every team seriously every single week and never looking past anybody.
I think we've always done that.
Yeah.
Now, I always say this, like every week to get up and have that mental edge, that's the challenge. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, you're going to get beat in this league. Like we've learned that. And our team does not look by anybody. I know that. And you just hope that they can regroup. And I think some of it has to do with managing energy during the week so they can really play their best and peak on Saturday. But it's easier said than done.
How do you get that message across? Do you get fired up? Do you kind of have a calm demeanor? What's your...
Yeah, I mean, I think, you got to read your team. There's ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
My nature's more fired up than probably not. So you just got to do what you do best, right?
Does that change at all this week, Chris, when you're talking about an environment where you really have to create your energy right from the jump because it just doesn't have that kind of traditional classic, the pageantry of college football everyone talks about, large crowds, that kind of thing?
Yeah, and so, I mean, all we can do is talk about it and then replicate it the best we can in practice. But that's part of the beauty of Stanford. Like they have their own unique way. And there's been no better team in the Pac-12 in the last 10 years than Stanford. Let's not forget that. And our guys don't forget that. I mean, they know when they play Stanford what's coming their way. So the message is there. We don't play the games as coaches. We try to get them as prepared and we put the information out there and and then hopefully you practice the right way and on Saturday you cut it loose.
This program has not won a game down there since 2007. That's obviously predates you and not anything that you're concerned about, but why is it so darn hard outside of maybe the energy factor to win a game in that stadium?
I think they got a good team.
Yeah.
I mean, they have good teams. They're the winning. Did he not hear my last statement? They're the winningest team in the Pac-12, I mean, they got good teams, right? So, I mean, it doesn't matter if there's, packed house or not. They just play ball. And they always have. It doesn't matter. Like I love that mentality about those. It doesn't matter. They'll go play anywhere. They'll play at whatever. They're going to play good, and we respect that.
Levi said he thought the younger guys actually maybe play better on the road than they do at home because there's not as much pressure when they're on the road. Do you kind of feel that way?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not playing the game for maybe Levi felt like that. I think there's always a lot of pressure. I mean, pressure can be a good thing, right? It really can. We just got to make sure we frame it and keep it in perspective. This is not life and death. We're not curing cancer here. And, but these are really important events to us and we put our heart and soul into them. And that's the, the trick is to get the energy and the focus right.
I saw you put Puka on the seating chart as a second stringer.
Yeah.
Is there a chance we could see Ty Jones redshirt this year?
He could, and that's one of the things we're discussing. He's practicing full speed, and so we're just kind of looking and getting a couple more games into this thing. But he's back and rocking and rolling, and the other guys have been solid out there, and so we're just kind of proceeding as business as usual.
With Jacob Eason's temperament, so even keeled, does that help him in road settings? Just the way that he never seems to get up and down in situations.
I think that demeanor in general helps you wherever you are. If you can kind of stay even keel. And I think, we've been pretty lucky that I think all of our quarterbacks have kind of been like that. They got a competitiveness to them, but they're not kind of up and down. And I think they just try to, focus on the next play. And I think that can help them. Certainly at that position for sure.
What's your respect level for David Shaw and what he's done down there?
Yeah. It's awesome. We've always appreciated Stanford. They can get some of the best players in the country. They really can. They have that unique advantage in terms of the academics that they sell. Their pool will be smaller, so that's a challenge. They recruit the nation, so that's a challenge because there's a lot of ground to cover. But they've done it, and they've done a great job with it. And like I said, I think they just kind of have their style, their philosophy, and you respect that.
Have the running backs made it really tough for you guys to figure out how to rotate those guys because of how they played?
Again, we kind of leave that to, each coach, and I think Keith Bones has done a good job. We're going to need, I've always said that we're going to need all those guys. Miles played here for so long, and then all of a sudden there's like a 3-game stretch, and we needed those other guys. And so Savon gets off to a good start, and then he misses a game, and those other guys don't miss a beat, and they pick up the pace. And so I think he does a great job of kind of mixing and matching, keeping all involved. And, I think then all of a sudden if somebody gets a hot hand and really feeling like they got something going, then it's the coach's job to make sure that guy's getting the ball a little more.
How deep is this secondary now compared to maybe even where it was for the opener?
Yeah, I don't think like that. You're not deep unless you got a lot of guys stacked behind it. Mm-hmm. And when we're playing 6 and 7 DBs, there's not a lot of depth there. One guy gets hurt, and then it's musical chairs, mm-hmm. and we just knock on wood, right?
No, saying my head's made of wood.
No. I was pointing to the door. Okay. Then it all changes, and so that's the nature of college football.
Yeah.
Is just playing a lot of DBs, and so everybody's like this depth. No, we're trying to recruit more guys to this position. We don't have enough guys.
How much have they grown in the last 5
years?
years?
I think that's been great. I think all of our young guys, I think the team's grown, and I think this is going to be another really significant test. Mm-hmm. I really do. Everything you guys are talking about, going down there, how tough it is to win, tough program, different style, all those things. And so I think they've grown, and as coaches, you're on edge because this is a different type test. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden we're on to different chapters in this midterm, and we'll see how these guys do.
We talked to Elijah Molden about his relationship with Savon Ahmed. I remember when you first showed up here, guys would talk about how kickers were rooming with defensive linemen, linebackers were quarterbacks. You really went out and mixed up all the positions. Do you still do something like that?
Oh yeah, that's part of part of just like the locker room. Mm-hmm. We still mix lockers up and all those type of things just to force the issue I think the guys really appreciate it. Mm. At first they're like, everybody loves being in their comfort zone, right? But nothing grows in the comfort zone. So it's like, get out of your, and then they oh, this is great, and I'll have some guys say to me, talking about a guy, and then they'll say, yeah, he was my locker mate like a year ago, and so just little things like that. And so it's really important that all those guys could hang out with each other.
How do you grow outside of your comfort zone?
I'm out of my comfort zone every day in this job.
Really?
Way back when, I can't remember. It might have been, it's one of the head coaches that I work for. Might have been Dan Hawkins. Just said, part of this job, you can do this job, but you're just going to have to be really comfortable being uncomfortable. It's like guillotines, like sitting on your neck, like every day, and you got to be able to juggle a lot of balls. And I think that. There's a lot of detail to it, but like those two big things always, you know, you got to be out of your comfort zone because that's what it is. But that's also a good thing.
What's your comfort level right now at this very second?
Okay, I guess we're done with this interview. We always ends it with the right question, right? Thank you, guys.